Hey, what's up guys? It's Chris. I got a couple new figures and I'm going to show you what they are about right now. I got my first form Frieza finally from Wish.com. I have issues with them and I will bring up those issues later. But for now I just wanted to give you like a medium range shot of how the figure looks in a general way, and then I'll get up closer and look at some of the details here. Body looks pretty good. We got the lines in the legs. Feet look pretty solid. The shin parts look decent. I like the shininess of the paint on the armor. I think they got some good detail in the hands. I think the hands look really nice. I actually even like that they threw in this little piece of his under armor or whatever. I think that's neat. They never really show that. I mean, they show it when he pops his outer armor off, but in the cartoon they never really show that part. So that was an interesting touch, putting that there. I don't think it was necessary, but it's kind of interesting. I like how big his tail is. I think that's kind of a neat piece. It was tail piece, leg piece, and torso piece. But let's talk about this jacked up face. This irritates me, and this is one of my big gripes with a couple of the ones that I got from Wish. This whole paint job is a little off, and I think the scouter piece was supposed to be a little bit transparent, and it definitely looks like a separate piece because it kind of wiggles a little bit when you touch it, because there's definitely more on the underside. The lips and the mouth paint job, it just looks very, very messy. And I'll put up another picture of what he's supposed to look like, so you'll see kind of what I'm talking about here. But some of these lines are supposed to be a little bit different, the black lines, and the eyeballs just don't quite look right. And you can see there's some white paint where the nose is supposed to be a little bit more of a purplish color. There's like smudges in the paint job. I don't mind the horns being a little bit curved. That doesn't bother me so much. It's just this weird paint job. And I swear it seems like the rest of the figure looks, mostly fine, but there's like weird paint smudges, and like this little square is supposed to actually be filled in all red and not just that little tiny dot like that. So anyway, he's got a real messed up looking face. I mean, the rest of the body looks fine. It's almost as if they got the mold and then they just like grabbed a different head and just slapped it together. I really don't quite understand what has happened to this figure. The paint on everything else, it's mostly okay. It almost looks a tiny bit off, but not really all that noticeable. But man, his head is jacked up. This is like a weird Chinese knockoff kind of thing or something. I don't understand it. It looks pretty decent from a distance, but anyway, let's look at the next one. Pow! Now here we have Cell in his second form on the ground. Kind of hard to see from this angle, but we'll get into better angles as I show you more of the detailed bits. But just give you a medium range shot of what generally looks like, and then we'll get closer up. Alright, now that we're a little closer up, you can see a little more of the details. There's some ridges on the inside of his helmet head thing. His facial expression looks pretty decent. There are some issues with this one. I've got some problems with this one as well. There's another one that came from Wish. Little paint smudge there, but that's not that big of a deal to me. It's got good texture. Everything is textured well. Again, I feel like the model for this, like the 3D model for this was like mostly correct, but this is my biggest issue with this guy. This piece up here is supposed to connect. See the pieces where it's supposed to, like right above his brow? That's supposed to connect. It's not supposed to be, there's not supposed to be a gap right there. And the eyes look slightly off. I'll put up another picture of what this one's supposed to look like also. The black paint job above his lip also, that's supposed to be all black and not, that green is not supposed to be showing. But my biggest issue is just that big old gap right there. I don't quite understand why it doesn't connect the way it's supposed to. And there's some smudging, weird, reckless paint job smudges up there on the shoulder, a little bit down here on the knee. And then there's certain spots where it didn't even look like they tried to color in the black spots. And then more smudges here, more smudging on the kneecap right there. So I don't know what's going on with these figures. They're mostly okay, and they look all right from a distance. You know, it's got the little curve in the tail too. I don't really mind the curve in the tail. It's mostly just the, you know, the weird choices, the weird reckless paint job and the big gap in his face that kind of bothers me. But other than that, I like it. Still, you know, it's in a good position. Everything looks decent from afar. It is most, you know, pretty much how he was supposed to look. Just got some weird issues with his head and the paint job. So between my weird issues with, you know, the weird painting on Frieza's head and face, and the weird gap in Cell's head, I'd say I'm pretty disappointed. I'm okay having them, and like I said, they both look okay from a distance, but I'm pretty irritated that they, you know, it almost seems like some sort of like a knockoff, like a rip-off kind of thing. I mean, it is cheaper when you get them from Wish, but honestly, I don't think I'll be buying anything from Wish. Again, my Goku figures box was all messed up, and you know, these guys have their weird defects. Anyway, they're here, and I've got them in my possession, so that's cool. If I come across other versions of them in the future that are a little more high quality, maybe I'll replace them. But for now, I'll keep them up on the shelf, and you know, they'll be all right. I can look at them from a distance and still be able to appreciate them. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you next time. I've got a few more that I'm going to do pretty soon, so look forward to that, and I'll catch you next time.